Okay, the next thing that we will look at, and it's actually the last thing, this is a really quick unit, is going to be doing something else with these cumulative frequency diagrams. We're going to use them, and we're going to use the same one that we used in the last video. We're going to use it to find the median, the lower quartile, upper quartile, and the interquartile range. Probably these last three are going to be new to you, so we'll begin with explaining what they mean. The median is something that you know, and we've done a lot. It means the median is the middle. So to find the middle, we do half, and then this n is just the total frequency. So in this case, we've been using 32 was the cumulative frequency. So that would be n, the total amount that you have. So plus 1 to find the middle. So the lower quartile, comes from quarter, which is 1/4. So this should be hopefully obvious. The lower quartile, also seen as LQ, is going to be 1/4 of n plus 1. Again, n is going to be the total sum of what you have. So 1/4 because it's the lower quartile, the bottom. 1/4. The upper quartile then, the top quarter would be 3/4 times n plus 1. And then the interquartile range is going to be like a range is we've seen in the past. It's going to tell you the spread of the data. So to find the spread of the data, we will do the upper quartile minus the lower quartile. So we'll look at this as an example and see what we can do. So these are the things that we'll use the graph to find. First thing we want to do is understand what it is that we're actually finding, the median what. In this case, we want to find the median time, how many seconds we're talking about. So we always want to begin on the cumulative frequency, the y-axis, and go down to the seconds for my answer. So in this case, the median. Again, our total was 32. So for the median, we do half of 32 plus, half of 32 plus 1. So half of 33, which is going to be 16.5. That does not give us the answer. What that does is that gives us what we want to look at on the graph. So we want to go to 16.5, so it's a little above 16. We want to draw a line to the graph, and then we want to go down in a straight line to the x-axis. So in this case, again, mine's a little bit thick, but we'll call this 13. So the median is going to be 13 seconds. So again, this value just told us what the cumulative frequency value is that we need to be looking at. So if we do the lower quartile, it's the same idea, 1/4 of 33. So you can do that in a calculator. You can do 1/4, so just 0.25 times 33, and we get 8.25. So go back to the graph at 8.25, and then to my line, and then from my line we go down. Like I said, this is a little bit difficult on with an expo because it's so thick, but we can call it the lower quartile 9 seconds. The upper quartile, we want to do 3/4 of 33, so 0.75 times 33, we get 24.75. I know this is difficult to actually look at on this because of the spacing, but you got to do the best you can. So we go to 24.75, we'll call it that, and then down to my time. And we can call that, let's see, maybe 18 seconds. So the interquartile range is going to be the difference between them. So it's going to be 18 minus 9, the upper quartile minus the lower quartile, to give us 9 seconds. So essentially, this section of the data is what we're talking about. This line is going to be kind of the bulk of the data. They can also ask you a question given percentiles. So instead of doing them with quartiles, we can do percentiles. So don't get confused by it, it's just a way of looking at it. 20th percentile is going to be 20 out of 100. All the percents are out of 100. So if you got an 89 on something, an 89% would be 89 out of 100. So it's the same idea. We just plug in the percentile to the n plus 1. So we have the same value, 33. So 20 hundredths are the same thing as 2/10 if we simplified. 0.2 times 33 is going to be 6.6. So again, we do the same thing. We go to the cumulative frequency, the y-axis, at 6.6, a little above there. Go to my line, oops, and then down. So by the end of this, your graph kind of has a lot of lines going on. So maybe we could call that 9 seconds. And then the 90th percentile is going to be 90 over 100 times 33. So we can do 0.9 times 33 is 29.7. We go to 29.7, almost here at 30. Oops. Yeah, this is why it's nicer to do it with a pencil. Especially if you have like a mechanical pencil, it makes it nice. Mine looks like it's going to be pretty close to right here in the middle. Oops. So we can call that 22 and a half. I know by the way I counted that would be 22 and a half seconds. So those are the kinds of questions that you will also be asked. So you'll have to, they'll be giving you a table with frequency. You'll have to add the cumulative frequency column on. Then we take those values and place them and draw the S shape. Again, that's what it should give you. Then they'll ask you to solve for the median, the LQ, UQ, IQR, and then they'll give you some percentiles as well. So this is a very common build-up question. So there could be a lot of points based on what you have to do with the one information that they give you at the beginning. So it is really important that this graph is drawn well because you will use all of the information on it to solve the question. So be sure to spread it out well. Don't group it too close. Spread the data out so that when you actually solve the questions, you have an accurate answer. That's it. Go ahead and solve the questions in this lesson and then go on to the examination questions.